What's up, everybody? And this is your boy Retro Rogue. I am here today with the inaugural podcast with my brother, the one and only
Drago Red Rocks.
Rago Red Rock.
Nice to have, yes, nice to finally be joining you on this endeavor, and can't wait to see what we put out there and what we get others on.
So this is going to be in two formats. It's going to be in podcast form, and if you are a YouTuber and a follower, subscriber of mine, you can also watch it in its edited form on YouTube. We'll shorten it up. We want to keep it as tight as we can for the YouTube subscribers. But if you want to check it out completely unedited, the subscription for that will be in the links down below. So please, feel free to check the unedited stuff out because I promise you, it's probably going to be off the hook. Me and my brother, we get into geeky tangents on a regular, and probably since I was 13, meaning he was 9 or something like that. I don't know. Math is hard.
Mathing is hard as adults.
but
It is.
but
Mathing is hard as adults. I don't like mathing still.
But no, so we it would always start out with something simple, and then the next thing you know, we're debating on who would take who out in Royal Rumble bash, because we were both into wrestling as well. So we would mix all this stuff up, and his geekdom veered off as he got older from my geekdom, because my geekdom was like, it's more the old school 70s, 80s kind of stuff, and some 90s. I was going into adulthood in the 90s, so it was, and women, but but even though then, anytime we would get together, we would just start talking about stuff that we love: comic books, movies, games. And after a while, I was like, this would be a great podcast. I was like, my hero in life, Kevin Smith, always said, just talk, get out and just talk about what you love. That's what a podcast is. And we would do it for hours, right? Like doing just hours, just jabbering about nonsense.
And now you guys get to join us in this endeavor.
Exactly. Now we want you to join us in these conversations of nonsense and fun and tomfoolery and fantasy and lore and with that, I wanted to kick it off with something that I thought would be appropriate because this is new and this universe is new. And the universe we're going to talk about first off is, I know, right? Is the absolute universe in DC, created by our Lord and Savior Darkseid. I was completely blind about this entire endeavor. A lot of stuff has been going on in the life, but there's a guy I watch on YouTube, a fellow Kentuckian now living in, I think, Colorado, Ohio. I don't know. He moves a lot. Rob Jeffers, aka Comics Explained. Anytime I need to catch up on anything comic book related, that's the guy I go to. And because of that,
man, let me tell you something. Rob nails it.
Oh yeah,
man, let me tell you something.
Just fact.
Oh yeah,
absolute fact.
Shout out to you, Rob. Shout out to you, Rob.
For real talk. And he had just started talking about Absolute Batman #1.
Oh my gosh,
man!
Never before has there been a more literal Juicy Bruce. Like, we say it, and no, this is a Bruce that ate another Bruce that ate another Bruce. There's Bruce on top of Bruce on top of Bruce.
I mean, he's a beefy boy. He's like if Bane was Batman. Like, he's a beefy boy. Oh, yeah. He's a beefy boy.
This new Batman, this reintroduction to Bruce, this reintroduction to Batman is welcome. They always find a way to make Bruce the same rich guy. This is the first time where he's really, truly a different Bruce archetype.
All right,
Like they
like
left just enough there to where we know. But man,
we've seen alternative Bruces, where oh well, his parents survived, or he died and his dad became Batman, or we would see you would get iterations of it, but we would get
that was my buddy. Sorry guys. On with the show.
iterations of that, and which is fine and dandy, but they always kind of was always within the Wayne Arkham mythos, Wayne money, you know, it, there has been a few occasions where Bruce has been born where he wasn't super rich or whatever, but even then there was like this thing where, he just became ended up having some kind, he lived better than most. Whereas you
Yeah.
get this Bruce Wayne where his family was not rich. His dad was a school teacher. His mom's a social worker. And the event that affects him isn't the death of both his parents, but the senseless murder, mass shooting murder. His father was just one amongst many men, women, and children who were killed in this massive murder, this mass attack that happened at a zoo. And losing his father that way. And I like the fact that he's intelligent, but the way they explain his intelligence. Like,
Yeah.
in the original mythos, it's just, oh, he can afford the best this and the best that. But in this, it's like it's his intelligence that actually takes him far. And they explain, why does he know so much about Gotham? Because he worked every damn job there was to work in Gotham. From the garbage man to the councilman, he did it in some
Yep.
shape, form, or fashion, learning the ins and outs, the political ins and outs, the street ins and outs. You know, uh, him giving himself the mission,
Oh yeah.
and while
Uh,
still having an anchor, being Martha Wayne, being his mother, who is
I was
still
about to
very
say
much
big
alive.
time there. Oh yeah.
And which is interesting because now this is a Batman who has something to lose. He has a mother.
Hmm.
And,
Segueing
and
from
I
that,
understand people will be like, well, Bruce Wayne had Alfred, but Alfred was kind of complicit in his mission.
yeah.
Whereas Mark,
Alfred was a support pillar, where in this instance, he's more of a support to Martha.
exactly,
He's more of the one that's, yeah, taking over where his father had left off. And then another aspect that makes this Bruce so different is his unique network of friends that he has this time around. Um, we get to see,
which is
instead of it
awesome.
just,
I love. Sorry,
yes,
go ahead, go ahead. I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
no, you're good. We're both excited about this because they literally take what are normally the um, the
The Rogue
the
Gallery.
enemies of Batman, the Rogues Gallery, and they literally make this his inner circle. Killer Karak. He's got Edward Nigma there. All of them are, instead of being his enemies,
Kitty
they're actually
Pryde.
his network. Instead of him needing
Oz.
Oracle, he's
I love Oz. Like,
Oz. I was about to say he's got Oz, who's still his high friend in low places, so to speak. Sorry.
even Harvey. Harvey did.
Yep. He's got Harvey. He's got Killer Croc
That
being
is
an
so.
exotic pet hunter.
The fact that Croc is just like this. Oh, this G. He's just the G.
Yeah.
Like he's the real homie. Like you can already
Yes.
we're only like what 3 issues in, and you already know like Croc is the G.
Oh yeah.
But now though, I'm afraid that they're gonna do something with with the kidnappings and shit and just the people disappearing.
Mhm.
I'm afraid that that's how Croc is gonna become Croc.
I was wondering how they're going to proceed because his friends all have their hands in the city, and at the same time,
And
Although they
Croc has his
know
hands in the deepest, as far
he
as
does
when
have
it
his
comes
hands in
to
the
like
deepest.
the underworld, like you know who's doing what around who,
Oh yeah,
and again, he's doing it more to try to protect
yeah. He's the guy doing the bad with
the
good
cat,
intention.
which I love too, because if you even in the original DC universe, Croc always had a soft spot for the sewer folk, for the homeless and shit. He
Yeah.
always saw himself as a protector in that sense. And a lot of
Oh yeah.
it was only in the more severe issues of the comics and animations and stuff where he was just kind of this brute. But
Brute.
like
Yeah.
there are many stories where Croc just wants to be left alone and wants to protect the people that are in his realm. And him and
Yeah.
Batman even would have an understanding of that.
Yeah. It was kind of like the original or the way they treat Solomon Grundy now. He just wanted to be left alone in the sewers, and he didn't want anybody that was already in the sewers to get abducted
Buck
or
Swift,
kidnapped or killed for whatever reason. And the villains respected that. They stayed out of the sewers until they didn't. And then Batman respected that and stayed out of the sewers until he
until he
didn't.
didn't.
Yeah. But yeah, and the way they've reimagined what would have normally been
Oh
Batman's
shit.
biggest sources of frustration and pain, where they initially had these guys as Batman's initial source of frustration and pain, being his closest network. Batman, his central thing is that he's always alone, or he doesn't know who to trust or how to trust. This time around, you have a Batman to trust, and he's got a lot of people
He's got a
that,
circle of trust, and that's what's real, real.
yeah, yeah, and it
And
plays into the way he's approaching
I
the
also, I really hate to cut you off, but before we
mhm,
get too far into it, I love the way, because we got to talk about him.
mhm.
I love the way they introduced Alfred, because I was like, because
Yes,
and I know there's a lot of Batman, I know there's a lot of bad haters out there, man. I get that, but the mythos is not the mythos if there's not an Alfred. There
there's
has
got
to
to be
be,
an Alfred.
and I love how they introduced this Alfred. This is a mercenary, militant kind of Alfred. This is this is uh what was it? Earth One, Year One Batman Alfred, the ex-military.
The XMI6.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That owed
yeah,
Thomas a favor and came in to help take care of his son. Like, this is that Alfred
yes,
if he never got that call to come and take care of Bruce.
yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And
He just kept on being that
he's
motherfucking badass. And like, I'm real interested in like whatever agency this nigga working for now. Like, fuck. Like,
oh,
they
yeah.
knew about Bruce before Bruce knew about Bruce.
And there in Alfred's narration of Bruce's activities in the going months as he's fighting to retake Gotham against the mask is just superb. He fills us in on all the essential details. He lets us know, hey, now, like, we always hear the whole origin story, but the way they had Alfred delivered this time was not boring. It wasn't the typical exposition. It was that what we needed. Okay, all right. What's Bruce up to? What are you doing here, Alfred? What's going on in Gotham? Okay, I'm ready. I'm set. I'm engaged. Feed me the vittles.
All
Feed me
right,
these
like,
vittles of God.
and I
Absolutely.
love the way when they do introduce him, like, they introduce him almost as the narrator of the story. So, like, when the story
Yes.
starts, you don't even realize that it's Alfred narrating it first. It's just like there's this third person narrator narrating what you're seeing and shit, and it was just well done. It was just all I can say is without giving mad spoilers to this series, because I don't want to do that. That's not what this podcast is about. Yes, we pretty much covered the first episode, the first issue. We're not going to cover
Mm.
much more than that. One of the things I will talk about that isn't the first issue is the motherfucking bat symbol on his suit. I Those who know me, those who know the road has one very, very favorite hand weapon. And that melee weapon has been and always will be the axe. The axe is just a brilliant weapon. It's both utility, destruction, creation. It does all these things. It can build, it
Oh
can
yes.
destroy, it can give life, it can take it. It's just it's form
It's
and
technical
function.
and it's crude
Dude, it is
at the
form and
same time.
function in its finest combination
It really is.
when made properly. And everybody, I remember when they first showed the image of Absolute Batman was like, "Oh, look at the chunky bat on his suit. I don't know about the chunky bat." And then halfway through, that motherfucker pulls out a stick. You're like, "The fuck is he gonna do with this stick?" And he holds that stick up to his chest, and all of a sudden you're like, "Clink!" And the motherfucker, and you got this massive fucking bat-shaped bat. I was like, "Yes, bitch! Tell me
Yes.
what? Like,
Yes.
tell me what?"
We always see the Batman that's athletic, and we always see the Batman that is willing to break some bones or put you in the hospital with a concussion. But this is a Batman that does it differently, and I like the way he does it. He's not afraid to be like, "Oh, so you have a weapon? Well, I'm going to use my weapon," and he doesn't just revolve around the gadgets because he's not that rich. The whole
And that's
that they built
and
there,
I
it's
love
lovely.
that because he doesn't have his toys to rely on. It has to be him, and he makes mistakes.
Yes. Dang it. Dropped it again. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. I just leaned forward myself because I had to reach for these. Uh, I wanted to show these to the folks that are on the YouTube. This right here, this is my copy of issue 1 because I wanted to show that fucking bat. I wanted to show it. I wanted you to see it. I wanted you to look at it. Look at this thing.
Look at that guy.
Look at this.
Like, there's no way that you're gonna see that coming and not immediately rethink your life decisions. Like,
You
Batman
gotta
has
be
always
like,
been
man,
terrifying.
I have fucked up. I have genuinely fucked up in my life.
And at the same time,
Why
with
did I
whatever
choose
you're doing,
violence?
whatever you, and the sad thing is, with whatever you're doing at the time that makes that guy be the last thing that you see before you wake up, you have to also think to yourself, I deserve this. Like, whatever you've done that
You
was that
earned this
bad,
shit.
to where you see that,
You earned it.
you mm-mm. Juicy
But
Bruce, I can't wait to see what you do next. Absolute is off to a good start.
and especially with the way the last issue ended with, nope, not gonna do that. If y'all want to check it out, please, I implore you, go check it out, man. Get it. It's probably in
Oh
its
dear.
third run at this point. I'll be straight up with you. I had to order my first and second and third issues online just to get first editions because and my comic book store is 10 minutes from my house by car. And I tried to get there on release day, and they're always it's done.
Oh yeah.
It's done.
Oh yeah.
It's ridiculous. So if check it out, and if not, if you're a digital reader, go to Marvel.com, man. They're right there for you. Check them out, man. And if you just on the fly and you're on the go and you just want the synapses, you want to know what's going on, check out our boy at Comics Explained. He lays it down tight, man. He's not paying me for this. I'm just a fan, a fellow Kentuckian, and I just want to give him that love. Uh, that being said about Absolute Batman, we're gonna we're gonna move over to Absolute Superman. Man, talk about spinning a superhero story on its head. So not only is Clark not a baby when he arrives on Earth, he's like 8 or 9. So which means he has memories of Krypton, of his parents, who are not the elitist scientist guild hierarchy, powerful Kryptonians. They're farmers and mine workers. on
They're
Krypton.
Martha and Jonathan on Krypton, guys.
They are.
Hey,
Yes,
they're
yes,
Martha and
yes. There
Jonathan
is.
on Krypton.
He gets Martha and Jonathan just on Krypton and
Yes.
Crypto
And
on
Krypton.
and Crypto is on Krypton. And
Love that
but
thing.
it doesn't matter because even though Jor-El works in the mines, he is still as brilliant as Jor-El is brilliant. Like he sees the
Yes.
writing on the wall, he sees the danger, and he
Yep.
tries to do the right thing, just like Jor-El always does. And
Ooh, gotcha this time.
and then Laura being as smart as she is, coming up, the reason she is in her situation because she was so smart, motherfuckers got scared of her and, and
You know what's bad when you're so
sabotaged
smart they
her
have to
life.
kick you out to the boonies.
Right?
Like she
No,
was so
they're like
smart
it's
they
rough.
kicked her ass out.
That's
Like
rough,
they
bitch.
did
You
the
too smart. Go
they
out
did
here.
the opposite. They did the opposite of what you normally do with the smart people.
Because
They're
she
like,
was
you're too smart.
because she
Get out of here
wasn't
and go
just
to the
the
farm.
problem. Because if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. But I believe it wasn't just how intelligent she was, but she was a free thinker. You know, she wanted to
She
help
wanted to
people.
do what they didn't want to do, and for that alone, they're like,
No,
no. And since you even expressed the idea, not only are we going to like kick you out of the city and prevent you from furthering your career, but yeah, no, we're gonna make sure your works are like you're
like the
done. So
way
they,
they the
I,
way they
they like
portray. Go ahead.
they did like old school Isaac Newton days of science. They're like, we don't like what you're saying, so what you said didn't happen, and we're gonna find out a way to keep you away from the masses. That's how smart she was, and that's how they ingrained that level of defiance into new soups. Because hey, we'll take our farm, we'll take our not being a part of the status quo. We'll still find a way to make our happiness out of it. I've already like they fused his Kryptonian appearance with Martha and John
That's brilliant.
perfectly.
That's just well done.
Mm,
And then when they brought him to Earth, I don't know, like the way they brought him, like they basically kind of gave him the. I don't know if you ever watched Justice League, Mutants and Monsters or something like that, but it takes place in the universe where uh Man Bat is actually Batman.
mm.
Uh, Old Girl from Apocalypse is Wonder Woman. Superman is Zod's son, and he landed in South America
Mm.
and was raised by Hispanics. They kind of
Interesting.
and they kind of gave the Superman in this universe, that Superman's back because he lands in South America. He lands in the mines of South America. Pretty much grows up, but no parents. Kind of just grows up in the shadows, hiding. Taking what he needs when he needs to take it. Learning the language on his own, but still has that Clark in him. I'm sorry, still has that Clark in him. That Kal-El is still. I want to do good. I want to help people.
Mhm.
And then watching him work the mines, hiding his identity, and then seeing how horrible
Yes.
that this company
Seeing
is screwing
this,
these people.
they
And it's
found a
like
unique way
enough is
to
enough.
keep. Yes, they found that. That's one of the things that it's they do it time and time again, and sometimes it can be boring. But they found a still topical and also unique way to keep Superman close to the little guy, the smallest of the small, the lowest of the low. That is important to any Superman story, and the way they did that here was amazing. Because you don't really see him interact with you don't really see him interact with the little guy and all the other things. You just see him see people. He's like, I gotta protect him. This time around, they even go as far to let him have let us see the conversation.
Right.
And it's big. He has a conversation with one of the miners, and it shows that difference of that ideology swap, where he's taking in what this guy is going through and why he's doing what he's doing, being a lowly mine worker and not really going against the grind. And we see the seeds of Superman getting planted proper. So it's not just the whole he's the golden boy. No, it's the hey, here's how this Superman's gonna be a Superman, and just like Absolute Batman, chef kiss, like they so sweet.
And with the introduction of the name Superman, they have to give you Lois Lane. And what kind of Lois Lane do you get? Do you get the intrepid reporter? Nah. Do you get the ex military daughter of a general from the U.S. Army? No.
Oh,
But you get a combination of the two in
ugh.
this iteration of Lois, who works for the very organization that that Kal-El is trying to topple and bring down. She's a yes woman. She's a company woman,
Yes.
and like
Hey,
and you can tell like she is a believer. Like she believes in the company.
oh yeah,
And she is
like
the
she's
one
dead
that
set. Like
coined
she,
the phrase Superman in the very first
yes,
issue. I understand we're only talking about the first issues
it's
of
the
these
first issue.
comics, people. We're not going to talk about what
No,
happens because there's so much. There's so
there is
much.
so much.
But
Oh, and it's like they made you hungry with this. If you haven't, oh, you got it. You guys got to look into it. They took some elements from the universe we're all familiar with, and they threw just enough of it in to where not only do you get to see a nice, well-built, hey, this is Superman origin, but you get to see some stuff that makes you want to be like, I want to see what's next. Like, I got to follow up on this.
I
Like,
like it
who are those
because
guys? What was in the mind? What, what's the company? Like, oh, it gets real.
I like it because I like it, 'cause if the world feels lived in. It feels like a DC universe. Feels lived in, and the the fact that when you find out why this universe even exists, and you're like, oh, okay. Which we will get to that when we get into Wonder Woman, Absolute
Mhm.
Wonder Woman, which is awesome. But before we do that, here we go again. I got you. Oh, what's? Oh, this is
Ugh.
my first issue. So also another special edition. I don't know how to just get the regular cover art, guys. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't
That's
know how
for
to do it.
plebeians.
I don't know how to do
Fandom
it.
goes harder. Fandom goes hard in this family.
You know what I'm saying? I love that his suit is almost sentient.
Yes.
It's like a sentient AI. Uh, and that his cape is made out of nanotech.
Mm.
It's
But don't be confused, guys. Suit aside, he's still
oh yeah, he's
Cal.
still Superman, which is awesome. Like the first thing Lois tries to determine is whether or not is the suit
Is
giving
the
him his
suit
power,
or if it's the man.
or is
And
he
then an
just this badass?
amazing and an
Which
amazing
lets
display
you
of
know her
panels.
intelligence.
Yeah, like so they paint this all very resourceful, very resilient, extremely tactical and smart Lois.
Yes,
As she is doing, she's keeping pace with Superman. I'm gonna say it the way she says it, Superman.
super.
And
Yeah,
not
super.
only does it, not only does it paint this awesome picture of Lois that you also want to get to follow up on, but it show like you guys got to check it out yourselves. The panels where it shows just what this Superman is capable of. Mm. They're putting in work on the absolute
Well, it's
series,
also because I
and
feel like because of the Superman saw the hardships on Krypton. He, you know,
Hmm.
he saw through the strife of his parents, the hardship of Krypton, but he also saw through the resilience of his parents, the best of Krypton, right? And then he comes to
Hmm.
this world, so he's seeing the resilience of these people, but he's seeing the hardships that they're dealing with. So I think we're dealing with a Superman who is, I'm not going to say he is the Boy Scout Superman that we know. He is, he's close to it, but he is that Superman that if he has to make that hard call, if he's pushed into a corner, watch out. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
I wouldn't put
Which is
anything
what,
past it.
which gives an air of Superman that's different than what we're used to, because
It's
we're
the
used to the Boy Scout.
unpredictability of it. It's like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, I don't know what the fuck this Superman will do.
which is a fun way of looking at Superman. They still give you his heroic values face front, which is important, but then they give you this unpredictable, kind of like a renegade youth, a young cop that
It's
plays by the rules
it's
of good to the
because
edge.
and tell me if you think I'm full of shit, but here's why I believe it's because for decades, damn near a century at this point, the way Superman's been played versus the way the government likes, the way they like to portray the government response to Superman has always disconnected with the audience. Because as the audience, we know this is Superman. He's beyond reproach. He's here to help. He's the Boy Scout. He's not going to do anything to hurt us. He's our friend. He wants to help us. But the way they've always painted the government, especially in the introduction of Cadmus and Argus and Amanda Waller, is,
Yeah,
he's
he's a threat to.
he's a threat.
What if he
We
was a
can't
threat?
control
He
him.
should be
We have
treated
to
as a
figure out
threat.
how to control him. If we can't control him, we need to destroy him. Just this constant and this constant back and unnecessary back and forth between
True,
super and to the point where I feel like I speak for a lot of folks when that it gets tired.
it does.
It gets
The
tired because
government
it's like
being the
because this super. They're like,
yeah,
it's Superman, motherfucker. Why are you tripping?
yeah,
He's done nothing to make
yeah.
you feel this way. And anytime someone's tried to make it look like he's done it, the truth comes out, and you realize it was a regular person. It's but
Yeah,
this Superman, this absolute Superman, those worries,
are pretty valid.
those thoughts are justified.
Yeah, no,
Even
you're absolutely
even
right.
even to down to us the readers. Because we don't know enough about this Superman yet to say would he kill a motherfucker if he was put to it? We don't know.
Now that you mention it, it does bring up an interesting conversation that he has with Lois, where she is asking him about where he comes from. And at one point, it's a meeting of wits. And you think, oh, well, this is the Boy Scout and all this whatnot. He's going to, kind of tiptoe around with Lois. No, at one point, he answers back on Lois, looking at the state of humanity, and it is eye opening because it shows you this Superman, although he's a good guy, he's not naive.
No.
He's not naive to the negativity that humanity can hide beneath. And he answers right back on her. And now that you're mentioning it, yeah, this is the kind of Superman that the government would want to, hey, if we can't put him on ice, we've got to put him under the ground. And I'm interested to see how he
It's
combats
just for
this.
once, the audience doesn't have the argument of no, it's Superman. He's the Boy Scout. We don't have that argument because we don't know.
Yeah.
He's given us no indication that he's that Superman. He's shown that
That is
he
true.
takes up for people, but he's also shown that he will use lethal force against others who try to harm others.
That is also
Like
true.
he wrecks that fucking corporation's soldiers. Like he lays them motherfuckers to waste.
To better phrase it, now that you mention it, he does have to be told not to kill. Like that's one of the first things that happens before a big scuffle takes off. This is like, hey, you can, but you shouldn't.
And the
And
fact that
Superman's
his
just
suit
like, but
is
I
almost
can,
like
yeah,
a conscience.
yeah,
Like his suit is like, because in most iterations, the suit would be the first thing to be like, kill him, fuck him,
kill him. Blue
quickest
Beetle,
way to
kill him.
victory.
Like any suit that
But
you
the
could
suit
take,
is like, maybe
Iron Man
you
suit,
practice
kill him.
restraint, my dude.
Yeah,
Like they are a lot more
like he had to
fragile than you
remind,
are, Kal-El.
yeah, he had to remind Supes a few times that remember they're humans. But yeah, I get that. I get that. They're the humans, Clark. Yeah, well, I mean, they're armed though. Yeah, but you're armed too all the time, technically, permanently, forever. Like it's that serious. But at the same time, I was just like, but here's the awesome thing: I was still rooting for Superman. I
Yes,
know he's more dangerous. He's more. He's a
but
more
he
younger,
doesn't. But
aggressive.
the way the company is presented, they are the
Mhm.
clear and present danger. They're the clear and
Danger.
present
Yes.
threat.
Yes.
You know what I'm
And
saying? Like,
so to see him, you always look for instances where you see
dude,
Superman go
they were
off.
gonna punish the people because he
Yeah.
did the work for them.
Yeah.
They were just mad that these folks had done the job and now had
Yep.
a full day to go and do what they wanted to, and they had to pay these people for this labor. They were
Which
clearly
they
just
intended to do
butthurt.
something. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm
They
saying? That
intended
was
for them to do
literally
something on there and
they were
failed.
gonna fucking mow down a group of workers for being good workers.
True. And the sad thing is, like the way Supes did it, the corporation was making bank. He got more done than the miners actually could have.
Yeah,
And it was a benefit to the company, but the company
it
was going to do
wasn't
it
a
anyway.
bad thing, and that's what cracks me up. It was not. I
Which
gotta turn this
also
light down a little bit. It's making me sweat.
which brings me back to the thing where I had to admit I was kind of like with the suit. I was reading and I was just like, I mean, remember, don't kill them. You are Superman. But I was at the same time, I was just like, I mean, but you could
Right,
like name, you
right.
could leave a few people in a coma if you really
You
wanted
can
to.
make a few of these guys rethink their life choices.
They need to. They've chosen the wrong employment, and they need to be able to have to
Absolutely,
choose a different employer.
absolutely.
Or rely on disability for the rest of their lives because apparently they think it's good for the gander. And like I was still rooting. I knew he was violent, but at the same time, I'm like, I mean, but if you can hit him and not kill him, how hard is that limit on that hit? Let's
Right.
explore this. Let's explore this.
And again,
I'm excited to see where it goes.
and again,
This is what I'm saying to you guys.
there's this parallel to Absolute Batman. Well, again,
Hmm.
I don't want to ruin I don't want to ruin issues, but it's a significant parallel that I got to bring up. Where in a later issue, Batman or Bruce, because I really hate calling him Batman right now, but Bruce is put in a position where he's being asked to compromise his morals
Ooh, so
for
you right?
for the opportunity to become more than what he is and be more effective at what he's doing. And you flip that back to Absolute Superman when Lois decides to connect herself to his ass. And
Hmm.
they have a similar conversation where
Wild
it makes
dismantlement.
Lois question whether or not the companies who she's working for are who she are the right whether or not she's on the right side of this or not.
Yep.
And so I like the dichotomy of that. I
Yeah.
really do like the
It takes
dichotomy.
these. It takes the characters and it allows us to see the ideologies mixing with who they are now as they've been reimaged, but it doesn't do it in an insulting way to the character. It actually makes you want to see exactly what they're capable of as they're dealing with future issues. You're not dealing with the world's greatest detective, Bruce, and you're not dealing with the Boy Scout Superman, and it shows, but they're not any worse of capable heroes in their own right. Like they took this reimagining or this relaunch, and they're doing it in a way to where it is still the guys we know, but it's not the guys we know. But they're still as good as the guys we know. They're just good in a different way. I need to know more about these guys that I thought I knew that I don't know that I want to know.
It's
That good?
absolutely incredible. I'm loving the hell out of it. And with
Mm.
that being said, we've got to move on to Absolute Wonder Woman issue 1. Oh my God! So
Mm.
this is probably the what's nuts about this is that the lore is so different, but it's the same at the same time.
So many things are the same at the same time, and I don't think this is that big of a spoiler, but I will say it in order to make sure that nobody loses their stuff. We still got Steve. So hey,
You know,
there's some things that are
look.
synonymous. You always gotta have.
Steve Trevor is as essential to Wonder Woman as Lois is to Superman or Catwoman
Alfred
is
to
the Bruce.
Bats. Yeah,
Like
yeah. Like
he's
and the funny thing is,
that important.
the funny thing is, going into Absolute Wonder
I'll
Woman.
even say he's almost equivalent to Alfred.
Yeah, like when it comes to Wonder Woman, since it's always happened in that vein, I was even thinking to myself, all right, how's she going to come across Steve and get off that damn island? It's always synonymous with that happening. She comes across the half dead man, saves half dead man, finds a way to get off the island, no matter what the island is. And all of a sudden, I was just like, I wonder how she's gonna. They got Steve. They gotta have Steve. And then lo and behold, hey, there's some things you can't change. For every Batman, there's an Alfred. For every Clark, there's a Lois. And thank God, for every Diana,
there's a Steve. You gotta have Steve, man, in some shape, form, or fashion. I love the fact that first off, she is a prophecy. Like always, she's always a prophecy, man. I love that she's always a fucking prophecy. And then she's taken to hell by Circe. And the fact that Circe's a good guy.
Seriously.
Is a good and then the fact that she is stricken from using the word Amazonian.
It is literally wiped from her own vocabulary.
She can't say the word if she wanted to. But the fact that the word came to Diana anyway. And then she's raised, and then not only is she raised like an Amazon because Circe's an Amazon, she's also raised in the steepness of the occult and magic because Circe is a badass sorceress. Always has been in every iteration. Like look in the main DC. Circe is a motherfucking problem. Okay.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
Yes, she is.
All right. If you motherfuckers think the Enchantress in DC is an issue, you think the Enchantress. Yeah. If you think the Enchantress in the DC universe is an issue, Circe will fuck. The only motherfucker that can hold their candles with Circe be Wanda.
Yeah.
Or Loki. Circe's a motherfucking issue.
She is an issue. There's a reason why you don't see her.
Like when it comes to magic,
you don't see a lot of.
She's top tier in DC,
yeah.
Man. She's top tier.
It's easier for Diana to deal with other villains like Cheetah and Big Barda and Giganta and all of those.
Who Big Barda, by the way, is a fucking Fury from fucking Apocalypse. The head Fury.
Any of the other Furies.
The head Fury.
Circe, ugh.
You know, Circe is a goddamn issue. Is all I'm saying. And so, and they don't take that away from her in this universe.
No, Cersei is an absolute badass here. And then, like with Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman, they still give us the toughest, roughest, the DCEST of DC and Diana, but she's molded different. There wasn't a whole army of the. She's in hell. She's in hell with Cersei. So there isn't a whole army of Amazonians in order to train her, but there is Circe, there is the magic, and there is even the denizens of hell.
Of hell. Like, this bitch is just
Oh,
in hell, just dealing with shit in hell on a regular basis.
oh God.
And that's how she's raised.
So don't think just because she wasn't around her original origins that we're going to get any less of Diana.
No, hell no.
If there's one thing I can say about the entire Absolute line as it's been started out so far, don't look at it and say they've made so many changes that these guys are not Wonder Woman, Bruce.
No, the Holy
and
Trinity is
Supes.
still the Holy Trinity. The only thing,
Yeah.
and I think even Rob talks about it in his show, is that we just don't know how the timeline's syncing up. We don't know
Yeah.
what events are taking place at what time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that there's going to be a coming together comic with, which we'll get a better idea of that. But
Oh yeah.
because look, Wonder Woman, she's dealing with real shit. Like,
Yes, she is.
like look, let's be real. Look, on a real talk, like Batman, Absolute Batman, he dealing with some ground level shit. Absolute Superman, he dealing with some mid level shit. It's a little bit higher level than ground level, but it's not much higher. It's corporations and shit. Like, it's people with money and like and resources and shit. So like he kind of dealing with some real shit. And I'm not gonna take away from Batman. It's organized crime on the highest levels, but
It is global crime.
it's still street
It
level
is
shit though.
global.
It's like
Well, it's actually
it's street
one.
level on the highest level, but it's still street level.
Yeah. I
It's
was
on
gonna say
the
it's
highest
global
level of
street
street
level.
level. It's like the whole
Yeah.
city. Like, it's not just the neighborhood. It's citywide. Like, I'm not taking away from it. Not.
I'd even go
I'm
a bit
not.
further because
I'm
it is
not.
still global.
And for the fact that he ain't a billionaire, he don't have the resources that he had. This
Yeah.
nigga got a dump
Yeah.
truck and an axe. That's what he got. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, that's what he's working with. So I'm not taking away from it. And this
Yeah.
was for Superman either. He's dealing with some
Yeah.
real shit too. But Wonder Woman dealing with some world shit, y'all. Okay?
Yes, she is, y'all.
Okay, like the shit she
The,
dealing, she talking about some Cthulhu level shit. Because it's come
the
from
issue
hell.
ends with just the engine. I'm nothing against Batman and nothing against Supes, but Diana's issues end on all hell having already broken loose, and I
Yeah,
can't. I'm
like,
not even going to go any further into that. It was
yeah,
just
because
shit had already.
that's breaching the first step issue, and we don't want to do
Yeah.
that. But yeah, like, she's dealing with some top, like, she's fucking with real generals in the military and shit, chopping them down.
Yeah.
I love it. But no, that first issue though, of her trying to understand this word and why this word is so ingrained in her and why she needs to understand what it means and the
and
fear
why it's so central to her, even though she can't understand what this central concept
even though
is.
she's never read it anywhere or she's never heard it, but she knows the word. Like,
It's powerful because you literally get to see what a strong Diana is from the moment that she overpowers
when Cersei
godly.
When Cersei tells her to
programming.
say it, she's like, "What word are you? What word?" She
Word.
like, say the word, and it's like when she said it out loud, you could almost feel the power that she took from saying it out loud.
Shazam has less power than when Diana says the word this time, and then you get this uplifting set of panels where Cersei's just sitting there and she's like, again.
And it's just like
the whole time.
son. It's saying like you can feel the realm of hell just quivering, dude, with every time she
Yes.
said it. Like,
Like you get there, you sit there, you're like, yeah, Diana. You're like, you sit there, and it's almost as if it's game time. You're sitting there with Diana. Yeah, Diana. Yeah, Diana.
yeah,
Yeah, Diana. Let's go. Mm,
it's
powerful.
probably of the three first issues, probably my favorite issue.
So far, we've gotten these war, and I love that DC's presenting these absolute uh, trio as absolute warriors.
Yeah.
Each one has some of the oh my god, they're like it's let's go. They throwing them hands.
Yes. Yes.
Each one is oh my god, they built the action so right with each one of these. Like hands are getting dealt, and I never wanted to see more from a variation
Like,
of these three.
I love the fact, like, in Absolute Batman, like there are a few panels in all throughout the first three issues where he's dealing with some street level dudes that, at, like, by the third dude, the fourth and fifth dude are like, I don't want the smoke. I'm good. Like, I'm like, see, that's real life. Like, who the fuck is gonna sit there and watch you run through three of your homies and you just gonna sit there and keep trying to attack this motherfucker? No,
Oh yeah.
no. If this is the direction of writing that DC is going in, I'm fucking here for it. Fuck you, take my money. I'm here for it, man. What's next? What else you got coming out in this motherfucker, dude? Because this shit is right. It's beautiful.
It
And
is.
I love the fuck out of it, and I want more of it. It's again,
Oh
like I said,
yes.
fuck you, take my money.
Oh yes.
But that being said, that's and then out because I can talk about DC for hours, but you know we got to keep it moving. We're gonna talk about the future of the MCU. Now, earlier before we started recording, I asked you if you had access to your YouTube.
Yes, you did ask me that.
Did
And
you get access to your YouTube?
I did not get access to YouTube, but I did watch several videos on YouTube prior to this conversation. So I was going to ask what you were going to bring up here.
So about 8 hours ago,
Hmm.
Marvel just dropped the official trailer for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Ooh. So I did hear that I did hear that the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is going to involve a certain individual that I didn't think they kept in universe after their
Okay,
cameo.
let me tell you, they just looking at this thumbnail,
Uh-huh.
they're doing what they want to do. Got the Spider-Man O2. I like that, the O2 Spider-Man too.
Peter, you're gonna be late.
Okay, it's like a comic book feel.
Oh,
This
I
is
like
like
it.
straight out of the comic book, dude.
Hey,
Got
This is-
nerdy,
Petey's always been a
got
bit
the
clumsy.
nerdy
You know me,
Spider-Man
clumsy Petey
fit. Like he
Parky,
is a
Parker.
kid in high school, like a shrimpy little dude.
Help! Mr. Campbell, I
Dude,
remembered
this
I
is
left something in the
comic
bathroom.
book animation.
Deuces. Parker out.
Yes, it is.
The people that gave us X-Men 97.
Somebody help me! He's running.
Love it. I love the costume.
Look how retro his
Hey,
webtoons
check out
are.
our next victim in his dumbass costume.
Is my suit really that bad?
Ouch. Oh!
Watch out for that
Ooh.
mark. Just consider it a good deed from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's me, by the way. I'm Spider-Man.
January 29th.
I I truly believe that I have these powers to help people, to protect them.
I love the outfit though.
I love it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a big fan of Scarlet Spidey, and every time I see the blue hoodie
Imagine
jersey,
being Riley,
sleeveless or
right?
whatever, oh, love it.
So, you're Spider-Man. With my help, you'll achieve.
So the Osborns are black. Dude, that's the Future Foundation suit.
Just look for your friendly neighborhood
That's
Spider-Man.
the Future Foundation suit, bro.
And no, you may not be.
What are you doing, Disney? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
Mr. Parker. See me after class.
Oh my God, bro. That was the Future Foundation suit, bro. That was the Future Foundation suit, bro. You saw it. You saw
my
it.
Jard. Oh, my Jard. Okay, Disney Plus is cooking.
You saw it.
Yes. And then in this world, we saw that picture. Osborn with Cap.
That was crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. And we just found out that Chris Evans is coming back.
He is.
He's coming back for Avengers 5.
Oh,
We don't know in what capacity, but it will be his Cap.
Okay. See, Marvel knows how to cook. And Disney, I have to give them credit. They don't step on Marvel's toes.
No, they let them play, man. They let them, for the most part, they let them play. I ain't gonna lie, I'm still a little butthurt at Marvel and Disney for how they treated Jonathan Majors. But again, I'll save it for another day. But
there is time for them to change, only because we just saw in the news, Jonathan Majors put it on. She admitted she lied. So Jonathan Majors, hey, we found out that he is innocent. If Marvel's willing to give their flowers,
they act like they don't care, and that's what's upsetting.
Yeah. Like, I get it, because they're like, well, you know what, we can rebuild on maybe like having Robert Downey as Doom.
But they were
so
quick, dude. But it was just how quick they were to just drop it. Just it's like they didn't even do Johnny that bad.
No.
So like, I don't know. We're talking about the future of the MCU, not the past. And what you and I just watched, and what our friends who are watching this on YouTube just watched with us, through the magic of technology. I gotta say, bro, that was awesome. Like, and have you watched any of the What Ifs seasons?
I only got to get in on the first season.
All right, so I have not season 2. I have not started season 3. Season 3 just ended, and it ended on a high note. Spoilers. I know that they introduced Storm, goddess of thunder.
Ooh.
So mutants, more like
finally
the X-Men. The X-Men.
The writing was on the wall. The writing was on the wall for us with Deadpool.
So like,
not Deadpool.
Deadpool. Just from the animation point of view, just Marvel to me is just on a high kick. And again, I'm sorry, but if you look at Marvel's track record like you would a football team, right? Their track record is fucking phenomenal.
And not just looking at that, but even looking at the roadmap going forward, we're gonna get Fantastic Four. But Pedro Pascal is.
I'm trying to be okay with it, dude.
What? You're not okay with it?
It's Reed Richards.
But no. It's gonna be like the 1960s version of them. Like, they're going back in time.
I get that.
And they're gonna find out a way to make it now.
I'm not trying to hate on any of it. It's just
But they get
I
the light
love
blue
Pascal. I
uniforms.
love him as an actor. It's just I don't know if I'm gonna be able to buy him as Reed.
He looks like Reed.
It ain't
If you
about
literally
looking
put
through.
Silver Streaks,
Reed is this dude. Like Reed is this. Okay, look, Chris Evans in the first Fantastic Four described Reed Richards the best. He's like, you're the smartest dumb person I know. Like he when it comes to his intelligence, when it comes to his work, he's Sheldon fucking Cooper.
yeah.
When it comes to his
But
social
okay.
and when it comes to his social life, he's Sheldon fucking Cooper.
But I
Just a
haven't
little
found
Leonard with just a sprinkling of Leonard. Like
you gotta look at this guy. He's played. He's knocked it out of the park with anything he's played. I gotta see him do something bad before I can be like he can't nail this.
I'm not saying. Look, I learned first off. Let me be clear. I learned my lesson about talking shit about who can and can't play people with fucking Hugh Jackman when they first announced him for Wolverine. Cause I'm an old fuck, and when they announced that shit, I was like, the guy from Kate and Leopold, because that's the most he had done by then.
Like
Really
when they
nice guy.
literally showed him, I was sitting there, I was just like, oh my god! If he had the Silver Streaks, he has that charming, goofy, lovable smile. I believe he could pull off the charm that we know Reed Richards for, being the one who's always willing to run tests but not take action because he's that careful and doesn't want to hurt his friends or anyone else. He's the last to act, but he's the first to be thinking, even more so than Tony. And I think Pedro could pull that off. I'm excited.
I'm
excited.
I'm excited for it. I'm cautious. And plus, let's be real. They have fumbled with the Fantastic Four quite a few times, but now that it's back in the hands of Marvel, I'm like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic. The Riri Williams TV show, Ironheart TV show, that looks interesting. Again, cautiously optimistic with that.
And I know it's doable. Yeah, I was gonna say I know that they can do it, and I know that we as fans, if we give them time to cook, then they can do it. And Riri Williams
Agatha all along didn't get hit like that.
Yeah. So I know that they can do it, and I have a feeling.
If I'm being super honest, was not a super like the first. I did reactions for the first 2 episodes. The first episode is up on my channel right now. It was interesting. The second episode I did a reaction for, I was like, okay. I've not watched another episode. It's just kind of like, and I'm going to eventually. I'll finish watching it. Whether or not I react to it for the channel, I don't know. I wasn't really feeling it. And as a rule of thumb, if it's not something that I'm really feeling, I'm not going to torture myself by forcing myself to watch it for reaction just for my channel.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'll watch it on my own time.
And it's good that Disney's following through with the stuff that they're doing. And I'll even go as far to say, when it comes to the shows like Agatha All Along and stuff, I don't know what shift they've made towards these shows versus when they originally released She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk was just as campy as she was in the comics. Her comics had never been, oh my god, the end of the world serious. Hers have had an air of seriousness about them.
I think, honestly, again, I think what hurt her was the lack of knowledge, and I think they didn't have somebody. They didn't have a James Gunn.
No, they tried to tie her into the mythos that they built.
Like the thing that James Gunn does and does well is taking obscure IP
Guardians
and turning them into mainstream.
Like
like Guardians of the Galaxy, Creature Commandos, like Suicide Squad. Like dude is good at taking not even B and C, but D and E and F list heroes and villains and turning them into I don't know how he does it because he's a writer and a director, so I don't know what his exact method is, but it's a proven method He's good at it.
Yes.
And I think She-Hulk, the show itself was good. It didn't have the James Gunn-ness to it.
And then it does bring me, because I like where we're looking at what's coming up. It brings me to where they're picking up with a lot of the TV shows with the Thunderbolts. I'm interested to see where this is going to go because, I mean, we already have seen movies of the Suicide Squad. They pretty much have the Suicide Squad here. We all know what the Thunderbolts is.
That's what the Thunderbolts are. They are the government's version, or Norman Osborn's, but in the MCU, they're the government's version of the Avengers. They're the B team.
Yeah.
Which I hate putting Elena in that category.
And U.S. Agent.
But I hate putting Bucky in that category.
And Bucky, yeah.
But U.S. Agent, Red Guardian, yeah, they deserve to be in there. Ghost.
U.S. Agent deserves to be there. Here's the thing.
Do not
U.S. Agent gets it.
Start on fucking Walker's bitch ass, dude.
But he got a bad rap. He was made to be what they want.
He murdered a motherfucker with the shield, bro. He decapitated the dude with the shield, bro. And wasn't even the dude that killed his homie. And then lied.
It's a big mantle to take up, Cap.
Oh, yeah. You know who else took it up? You know who else took it up and didn't decapitate nobody with a fucking shield? Bucky. And he used to be the Winter fucking Soldier. Sam.
Okay. But Sam did cripple Rhodey. So what is that? Hey, he did that.
No, sir. Sam
Wilson did not
cripple Rhodey. No. Sam Wilson dodged an attack. He dodged an attack that was on him. He dodged. No, fuck you. He dodged an attack. Vision blasted. If Vision would have blasted him, he would have been the nigga with the broken back, flying on the fucking ground and dying and shit. Everybody freaking wants to talk about how Rhodey got hurt. If he would have took that fucking hit, Rhodey would have been all right, but fucking Sam would have been the motherfucker who would have been fucked up. He dodged. Vision fucked Rhodey up. He underestimated the maneuverability of fucking Sam motherfucking Wilson as Falcon. He did what he should have done was dodge a motherfucking bullet. He should have just took the bullet.
No, I'm not saying he just let himself get shot by Vision.
Didn't dodge the bullet, nigga. And if you think about it, he had more time than Sam did to dodge that motherfucker. He saw Sam move. He should have fucking moved too.
Oh, 3 hours later.
Because Sam moved out of the... Because Sam didn't want to end up like Rhodey. No. Because Sam didn't want to end up like Rhodey. It's Sam's fault.
He's like, dude,
Sam,
I'm sorry.
You heard that, Sam?
You heard that,
fly
Sam?
off, Sam. You're Anthony Mackie.
Fly off, Sam.
Anthony
Mackie. You have to stand over the broken man.
You should have took the bullet. Anthony.
Anthony, you didn't have to stand over him and look at Tony and be like, I'm sorry. I'd fly off. Run away. No, you're going to stand there and look at the broken man and be like, I'm sorry. I didn't do anything to intervene either.
For the MCU, and I'll try my best to not backtrack because I do want to also touch up on not just the Thunderbolts, but I also want to touch up on where they pushed back Blade yet again.
Blade has kind of fallen into the state of limbo.
Deadpool ruined it.
I'm getting ready to say what happened was the success of Deadpool Wolverine.
Well, we saw Snipes back.
That trilogy, dude, is is somehow they did a model three times in a row.
Goated. It's Marvel. It's I'll go as far to say it's the last Sony Marvel goated, and it was the perfect segue into the Marvel's expanded universe with Disney now, because they quite literally Disney was smart. Disney was like, hey, you know what? We'll accept this, and we're not gonna fuck with it. And we're like, no. And they're like, yep, we're gonna accept this, and we're gonna add to it, but we're not gonna fuck with it.
And what was crazy? Is how they were able to take the whole Logan situation, and they did fuck with it until they did. And then it was even more awesome.
We had Henry Cavill. That like, even like when we saw him from behind, we were like, that's not Hugh, but yeah, I mean, come on. And then when he turned around, I was just like, oh my. I was right there with Deadpool. I was like, it works for me. He was that bushy, just out of just out of Canada wilderness Wolverine that we know wears white beaters, hair on the arm.